Many Christians believe that the entire future is settled and determined in the mind of God, either because God foreknows it all or because he actively foreordained it all. But there's a massive problem with this. With a settled future, the Christian practice of prayer is completely pointless. Why? Well, because it doesn't change anything.
All right, so this guy's really ignorant. He's not the only one. I'm just using him as an example. So it's obvious when he speaks he doesn't know what prayer is, because he thinks prayer would change the future. He just said prayer would be useless because it wouldn't change the future. So he thinks prayer changes the future because he doesn't know what prayer is. And he's not the only one. Most people think prayer is asking for something, that God may give it to you if he wants to. But that's not what prayer is. You can look, there's no better example to look at what prayer is than right here when Jesus teaches to pray. So it's in Matthew 6:9, and the disciples asked Jesus to teach them how to pray. And so Jesus is teaching them, and he gets down here in verse 9. And he says, "In this manner, therefore, pray." And that is like this, prosukesthe. It's the Greek word prosukomai, or form. And so the word itself tells you what prayer is. So it's a form of this prefix pro. Like if I say I'm pro-life, I'm for life, I'm towards life, or pros, and UK right here. So this is just a Greek ending right here. This is a Greek ending right here. So, but this is the base word UK, which is one of the Greek words for will. There's another Greek word for will, which you'll see in the next verse right here. Sorry about that. So the word, the very word prayer means towards will. Towards will. So it means to bow to the will. So when you're praying to God, you're bowing to God's will. You're not asking for God to do something that he doesn't know about. You're bowing to the will of him that determines it. That's what prayer is. And the guy doesn't know that. And then you can see that when Jesus is saying, therefore in this manner, our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be thy name, which is a form of the word hagios, meaning holy or separate. Be thy onoma, the authority of God. Holy is holy and separate and pure is your authority. So you can see he's bowing to the will of God. Your kingdom come, your will be done. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus literally is telling you how to pray, to bow to the will of God. You bow to the will of God, your will be done. Jesus said, I do the Father's will. I don't even do my own will. He does the will of the Father, what the Father wills, what the Father wants, what the Father determines by his authority, his hallowed authority. So Jesus tells you, and the word itself, prosuke or prosukomai, tells you what prayer is. It is not asking for new cars or asking to get me home safely. Like Paul said, you say you're going to go here, you're going to go do that, this. You say, if by the will of God, if God wills. So I'll be there at 5, God willing. That's a prayer bowing to the will of God. So prayer is bowing to the will of God. And yes, sir, prayer does not change anything. See, if you knew what prayer was, you wouldn't make the video. You wouldn't even make the video. You don't understand what prayer is. You're an open theist. The guy's an open theist. I think his pastor's an open theist. See, he doesn't think, he makes God in his image. God's like him, he thinks. He's like a kind of a cool dude that doesn't know the future, makes mistakes, and bumbles around. So that's where he's coming from. But like I said, he's not the only one. A lot of people think prayer is asking for stuff that apparently God doesn't know about that he's going to give you. Something might change. He says, change anything. Well, the future isn't here yet. There's nothing to change. So his whole thinking is just off. So you need to understand what prayer is. And then you won't speak like this. Things will make sense.